Let's get it. I've been excited about this one. I got so many goddamn questions. I'm telling you. So it's like, nah, I really do. So
I love it.
let's get it.
My name is Josh Snyder. You're listening to Thoughtful Discussions. I'm here with my co-host.
Yes, this is Corey Ochai, the one and only. This is the founder and owner of 1028, man. And we got a special guest here today.
I'm going to let you introduce.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
We got somebody who navigates the terrains of Pittsburgh, PA, helping people out with mental health and so many other things. I can't even tell you everything that this young lady is doing, but we are excited to have her here. We got Miss, you know what, you introduce yourself. Let them know who's on the microphone over here.
Hey guys, it's Sydney, owner of Niplids,
Hello.
founder of Artist Talk Mental Health.
Talk that talk, Sid.
Yeah, that's pretty much my life right now.
And I think that's just scratching the surface of it, man. When there's so many other things that you do and so many things you're a part of, man. And me personally, being an artist, being an entrepreneur, and also being a black man in Pittsburgh, being able to see the things that you've been doing. Because I know you said that, but that's kind of being humble right now.
A little bit.
A little humble right
bit.
now. Because we ain't even talk about the other things you're getting into. But so let's first talk about who Sydney is and what Sydney stands for. You know, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in East Liberty.
East Lib.
East Lib.
Yo, the real East Lib, not what we seen over here
No,
today.
it's very different now in every way. So.
Not the Walnut Capital East Liberty.
That's real. Trader Joe East Lib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. So you grew up in East Lib. What was it like growing up? Who was Sid as a child? You know, what type of kid were you? Were you always this bubbly? Were you shy? You know?
I kind of I'm cracking up. Yes, I feel like I've always been a personality. I don't know if I came out of my shell how I did now.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's a lot more concrete. But yes, I've always been a ball of energy. I mean, I don't remember certain stories.
You was wilding. You was wilding as a child. Your parents is looking at it like, you don't even know who
That's
you
exactly
next
what
to.
I thought over. Just all the stories that like my parents told me about myself as a child that I don't remember. But I'm like, you know what? That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense for me.
Now, was creativity always something that? Because I mean, you're also an artist, right? You had a show last year that was really dope. I got the chance to see it through the wire, but
Yes, make love.
Oh, absolutely, right. So that was
I got my
heavy.
printing from Josh,
Yeah.
and he sponsored it.
We
So
did,
shout
yes.
out to your print shop.
So
PGHprintship.com.
the wildest thing
Check it
is,
out.
so I found out about the show from Mike over at Red Hawk, the cafe.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
was like, I went to this show, you know what I mean? It was, you know, there was a little bit of nudity, but he said, because he doesn't do like art stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But he said it was such a dope experience. Him and his
love
lady
that.
went out there. So, and then I was able to find out later that was actually your show. Or you were a part of that show. So, you know, creativity is also part of your journey. Let's get back to it. When you were younger, was creativity like part of the thing that really shaped Sid back then, or?
So I grew up in East Lib, like I said, and we used to have this place called the Quiet Storm. And you could go there, listen to live jazz music, spoken word, poetry. I never really had seen a place like that before. So that was really inspiring to me. So I kind of caught on to poetry and spoken word.
Okay.
And I remember as a kid, like, just writing poetry on anything and everything, like pieces of cardboard I'd find in the house, my notebook on the wall probably at some point, like. So, yeah, I think, like, whenever I kind of caught on to that, I got very attached to it. It was just a way for me to express myself. And I loved that it wasn't like I had to talk to somebody to do it necessarily. It was more like a conversation with myself.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think spoken word was, like, my first kind of love in artistry. I also did spoken word with Tribe Eternal, which was a collective. This is
Right.
fast forward, not
Fast
kids.
forward, okay, I got
but, you know, it's something I've, like, always, like, went back and forth between. Still do it now in my journal, but not in public.
Okay, so what was the goal as a kid? You know, everybody wants to be something when they grow up, right? When you were younger, what was that thing that you was like grabbing? Like, you know what, I want to be that when I get older. You know, for me, I wanted to be a break dancer. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
breaking.
No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't. I did have some moves though. You know what I
Not
mean?
tight.
But see, I was raised I was born in the '80s. You know what I mean? The person I really looked at, y'all gonna die laughing.
Let me
when
see
that.
something.
Yo, no, no. But I was a big fan of MC Hammer.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that on camera. Yeah, yeah. And,
Everybody had that person.
yeah,
that
so that's
they're
what I
not-
mean. And I had that person. Who was the person you had that you looked up to?
That I looked up to.
Yeah, that that you may wanted to emulate one day, without like the big pants and doing the Running Man and stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't feel like I got.
Why did I do the motion?
I don't-
The motion and everything.
You
I
try to
was,
pop-
I was,
pop
I
it
had a
out.
flashback of PTSD out here.
I don't think that there was a specific person, and I don't think that there was a specific person that I saw myself wanting to be. I think it's very much how I am as an adult now. Like, I like to dabble in everything. Like, I've always bounced around to, never really had a clique per se, but
I
I've
can
always
see
bounced
that.
around to different artistries, dabble in different things. I mean, I'll ring up my friends and be like, hey, let's go do this thing. And then we'll show up and it's some random thing they didn't think that,
Yeah.
they didn't know what it was about to be. But I just like to
So,
dabble in different things.
That's really cool. We usually get an answer on that one, right? But I think that's a dope answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I never heard somebody say, like, usually somebody has somebody to attach to. You're like, you know
Right.
what, I wanted to do a little bit of this. I wanted to do a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of that. You never stuck with one thing, one person that's like, I just want to be that person. You just wanted to discover who you were by trying out all these things. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it's kind of sound like. And you know what's so dope is that's what I see today, right?
Oh,
Because
thank you.
I can turn on to your feed and it's like, it's not what are you doing this month? It's like, what is she doing this week? Like, I'm following, today, are you in class
I
or
love that.
are you doing a podcast or are you promoting? I mean, you're like you're a
Hosting
force.
event. Shout out to Jabril,
come on,
Washington.
Shout out to Jabril. That's
I just
my
hosted his
guy.
event. It's called It's In You, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
So-
me and him were the ones that did Wade and Femi's.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. The
Look
little
at us all
promo.
intertwined in
It's so
projects in different
crazy. And then I
stages, and
seen
that's what I
Small
mean.
town.
Yeah, I seen you on. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Like, who?
He was like, you want to host this event? I was like, I don't really know if I can host. He's like, what do you mean you do it for Artist Talk all the time? And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do this. And it was really cool to
Absolutely.
step outside of my comfort zone and do something different.
That's outside of your comfort zone. Do you have a comfort zone? Like for real? Or you just be?
I push myself, but I think that anything that's new
question, yeah.
is scary. Even before I came on here, and I've
Yeah.
done it before with
Right.
other podcasts, but it's
Right.
a new environment, new people,
Right.
new energy. So yeah, but once you get into it, I feel like
You're courageous.
What pushed
You're
you?
courageous, and they say courage is
You
not
know-
the absence of fear; it's the triumph over it. And you seem to develop that skill. So let's get
Thank
to
you.
it, man. Let's go. Let's go. With
What
that.
helps you
Let's
with
go.
what helps you try to push those boundaries?
I think that I have like a clearly defined why at this point, and I think that makes me like fearless and courageous, and like I'm gonna do this because I want my people to be able to feel like they can do this. Or sometimes you have to kick down a door, or just go first. So I
Absolutely.
think that really pushes me in that direction.
Yeah, you said that why, man. I don't think a lot of people understand. That's the foundation, right? So, what is your why? Is my first question, right?
Okay.
And the other question is, how did you discover that? Because I think that's something you discover, in the journey, right?
Yeah, I think like there's always been those conversations around me about it, and I didn't really get it, like the why thing.
Yeah. There's a
and
there's a good book on that too, right? Understanding. I forgot the guy, but yeah, there's a book on that
Okay,
too.
you'll
I
have to
love
send
it.
it to me.
Yeah, I will. I definitely
Yeah,
will.
but I think my why was just like a feeling, and I think like the first time I got that feeling was with my aunt. And I remember being on the cover of a magazine because I used to model too.
I ain't shot.
Throwing that out there.
The Pittsburgh Forrest Gump out here. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna call you. That's gonna be the title of this.
So it was the cover of local magazine, and my aunt had went around because I told like people, it's out, you could go pick it up. My aunt had drove around all around the city and had picked up all these magazines,
Okay.
and she brought them to me, and she wanted me to sign them. Like she was so proud, and I was like, just that feeling of somebody like believing in me to that measure. I I think that became my why. It became my why to do that for other people, but also to like cherish and appreciate that like somebody believes in me in that way, so I need to believe in me in that way.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of made me like step on stuff different.
Okay, so you're saying the why is that's the why. It's somebody believing in you. You want to make sure that you can do that, provide that for someone else. Is that?
I don't think it was somebody believing in me. I think it was when I started to believe in myself. But
Okay.
I think I need encouraged and pushed into that direction in order for me to even like get to that place, because I don't think I would have naturally did it myself.
Okay.
But yeah, once I felt that, I think I had this consciousness of like everybody may not get to experience this in life.
Okay. So it's creating those moments where you can feel, oh, I got it. I
I
got
also
you.
wanted to just like dedicate this episode to my aunt. She passed away 7 years ago today.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
it's funny that you brought that up and
Yeah.
that we're talking about her, and I just wanted to say that. So
Well, you know, I mean, that's the beauty of like having those moments, man, and being able to like they're so stuck in you that they become part of
you are, yeah.
And then you share that with the world, right, and it grows, right.
Yeah.
Like I think, you know, us being creatives in general, or being people that want to add value to the world, we don't want it to stop when we're not here. I think that's almost the measurement of how like the measurement of if we did it or not. You know, I think somebody who can reach you, how can I say this?
The ripple effect.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the word greatness.
Yeah.
Greatness is not like making 100 points in a game. I think greatness comes from you doing what you're doing and
and
actually,
how you're doing it.
yeah, and it inspires other people to do it. And not just inspires them, motivates them, they actually act
Yeah.
off of what you presented
Build
to
something.
them.
It's like
Yeah.
planting seeds.
To me, that's greatness. So your
Yeah.
aunt is actually cut from that cloth. So it's dope to see that, you know, that's part of who you are now too. That's
Very much so.
amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So all right, so we kind of went through the childhood a little bit, just a little bit. We tapped on it a little bit, right? And it's one of those things where you like to try a lot of different things,
Yeah.
and you're not afraid to try these different things. Now, I think a lot of people that are listening, this is one of the reasons why this podcast exists.
Okay.
It's for the listeners to get an idea of maybe not of where you're going, but how you navigated where you already been.
Sure.
So, like, you know, how did you become so god darn courageous, man? Like, can you give us a moment actually where, yeah, give us a moment. Give us a moment.
that I like
Like, when
felt
you
was like my first like courageous
Yeah.
thing.
Or like one where you could say like, oh, I got this. How about this? I got this moment. Like I do this.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I've had that moment where it's just like,
Yeah. What's all right? That's all right. We'll discover it. That's what we're gonna
Okay.
do. We're gonna discover it. So let's go through like what type of student were you in high school, right? Because
Oh, in high
because I still want to get through the child. We still want to
yeah,
get a real good picture.
yeah.
of
We
who
went
Sid
from
is.
elementary. Okay, we in high school.
Yeah.
In high school, I went to like 3 different high schools. I went to Still Valley, I went to Sarah Catholic, and then I graduated from Dice. So
Always the new girl.
spectrum.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
yeah.
think that's what made me so adaptable and contributed to that as well.
I'm the same
It's
way.
like I've been in so many schools, I've had to be in so many spaces, and I've seen that I can kind of navigate those spaces and be in every clique and be cool with everybody, but like not like attached to that clique
Right.
in any type of way. So who was I in high school? I mean, I kind of just am who I am now.
Yeah.
Like I was very bubbly and just kind of hopped around
Yeah.
and was a social butterfly.
Yeah.
I played sports. I ran track. I played basketball.
Well, I think that's beautiful right there. I think
Yeah.
that's enough right there,
Okay.
right? Because that unlocked it. That's
Okay.
that's the thing right there. So a lot of times, even with military kids, right? That's the skill they develop from going from different places.
Yeah.
Is being able to navigate a circle, being able to communicate with any and everybody. Because I'm always a new person. I always have to figure out how to get in here so I can actually communicate with you, right? How to talk to the best of them and the rest of them. It makes sense. Like
Yeah.
now you starting to make
Okay.
like it's starting to make
All right,
more
so we're getting
sense.
somewhere.
We've gotten to a few places, man. Got a few places. So after going through high school, I think a common thing is like, what am I going to do after high school? You know, what's the thing happening after that? Like, what did you want to be? This is I think at the point where you start to solidify.
Well, when I went to college, I thought I wanted to do marketing and business, which kind of plays into like where I'm at now. So
nice building blocks there.
Yeah. So I also like had to get like some type of job to like sustain myself at that age.
It's a thing.
So my first like real job, I would say, like besides working at like a Nike or Journey store when I was in high school, was I worked at the bank. I worked at First National Bank.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been in banking for about a decade. So there's that too.
Oh, okay. Now see, I'm gonna get to that because I was wondering.
There's so many hidden things like behind the.
But I think that's the beauty of it.
I don't talk. Yeah.
That's the beauty of trying so many different things is the skills you develop, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never know when you're going to use them, and you don't even. You're always worried about, damn, what do I hop around too much, right? But then you realize, like, no, I was just kind of going where the energy took me. Like, this is, but I took a little bit from banking. I took a little bit from moving around in high school a little bit, right? To form this thing. And we haven't even got to that part yet, but it's it's a beautiful thing, though. That's a beautiful thing. So,
I think that's my next question.
yeah, come on.
So at what point did you decide you wanted to start like a business and you're like, oh, I want to do this and I want to sell, like, I want to make something and I want to sell it?
I think I've always been like interested in business. I think so the reason I got my job at the bank when I was 18, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and my dad was like, go into banking because you'll always need to know money. Yeah. So I'll start that relationship with it, learn the terminology, and like, you know, because no matter if you want to stay there or not, you'll have knowledge for whatever you need.
That is 100% true.
I started working at the bank, and I think just seeing other people have like small businesses and even like from the people that had accounts to the people I worked with. Right. Also, there's people that I'm meeting at in college, like asking them about their businesses and how they're selling stuff. I'm seeing people sell stuff out the cafeteria. So,
you
that's
weren't
always
scared to get the information. Like
I had all the information. I was just trying to figure out like how to put everything together. Yeah. So it made sense, and I was still kind of like Niplids, my firstborn business.
I like that you said the firstborn though. That's a real thing.
That was out of another thing that happened like in life, and that was in dedication to my godmother. So everything that I've done has been tied to someone and an experience. Right. So I just think I hadn't had that experience yet that inspired me in college.
Right. Everything has its moment, and sometimes we don't even know it's the moment until it's happening. It's like, oh, now it makes sense, right? Nothing comes from nothing. Right. Like we said that in the last podcast, and I feel like that's important to understand that everything has a purpose every moment. So, man, so you're in college, man. You're in college. Yeah. You're learning marketing. You're learning all these other things. You start working at the bank. Yeah. You get an understanding of money and how money works. You're seeing people come in getting loans and starting for this small business. So now you're saying, oh, I've seen that done.
I'm seeing the system, the process,
seeing these things.
how everything is structured.
I might be able to. You know what? I am gonna. That's another thing I might have to try right there. Yeah, let me see what's up with that. All right. So when did that moment happen? Let me see what's up with that. When did that become a thing?
Ooh, well, I think it all started with Niplids.
Yeah.
It was.
What year was that?
Niplids was 2017, and I remember. So how Niplids even. Okay, so Niplids came in 2017. I'll tell the story first, and then I'll tell how we got into
Let's hear it. I'm ready.
So I dedicated it to my godmother. She had breast cancer. I started making it the hats for her because it was uncomfortable for her to wear wigs. So it was just something to give back and like for her to feel beautiful and kind of dedicate to her. Big. How I started selling Niplids though, like the business, I was supposed to walk in this fashion show. And she was like, hey, like, I'm not going to be in the fashion show today because I didn't get my garments done in time. Right. But there's a free vendor table I was supposed to have. Would you like it?
Get it.
So I'm literally at Flow Lounge, this place that Trav Eternal used to have.
Yeah, man.
Along with other people. And I'm making my Niplids. So I'm literally taking hats that are still wet that I was just working on in the little studio we had. And I'm going to Spirit to sell my hats, and then NPR radio just happened to be there, and boom, I got my first interview on NPR radio first day I was selling Niplids.
Beautiful. And for
yeah,
people
what?
listening, what is Niplids and why is it?
Yeah.
What makes it different?
Yeah, Niplids are nipple printed hats that I paint my nipple and print it onto the hat. Like I said, the background story is just dedication to my godmother. And what makes it different is every nipple print is like a snowflake. So you'll never have the same nipplid. And it's your own, like, one-of-a-kind piece of artwork.
And I think the story from behind it, that's important too, man. That it started from trying to bring some comfort to a loved one, right? And it was inspired from those moments. You know, that was something I've dealt with as well in my life was cancer and losing my hair and all those other things. And those moments like that's important.
Yeah,
that's
it's somebody
important.
believing in you,
Yeah,
right?
man,
So we're
yeah.
going back to that, where it's like somebody that's showing like, oh, this person went above and beyond because they
Right.
care, and it's like,
Right.
oh, somebody cares about me like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you
Love that.
dedicated that first product, your firstborn.
Yeah, so that's how Make Love came about. The show that you were talking about at the Mattress Factory.
Yeah.
So the film that your friend was talking about that I was in creating different art pieces with
Right.
my body,
Right.
it was called Naked or Nude. So it's playing with the perspective of like, do you see something naked or do you see something nude? Because often people try to sexualize niplets. And it's like, okay, I see where your mind is at, but when you look at this piece of art, if somebody's top is off, are they naked or are they nude? Does it depend on what artist painted it? Does it depend on what setting it's in? Like, I wanted to play with perspective, so that's kind of how our show
That's
came
deep.
about.
That's way deeper than what he explained.
think I ever talked about that, so there you go.
That's
Boom.
interesting, man.
It's going to be different for anyone. Each person that's viewing it is going to have their own, mindset.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
depends
gonna be-
on like your upbringing, what
Right.
people are around you when you're looking at that. Like, do you feel embarrassed for looking at it,
Where
or
you
these
at
like
in
the
life.
homies?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's so many things that like play into it. So I like to play with perspective.
That's interesting, man.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So you created your firstborn, right?
Yes.
You
You
started
still
to
make those, right?
Still make
absolutely.
niplets.
I
Yeah,
can see them at
niplets is for,
Redfish.
you know what?
Yeah.
People ask me that all the time. Niplets is for life. I'm never going to stop making them. It's always going to be a part of me. I'm always going to play with it. So, yes, forever.
Let's
Niplets.
let's talk about the business side of that, right?
Okay.
Like, because now it's one thing to see it, it's another thing to do it, and then there's going to be some things you learn from it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So when you chose this as your first product, because I think that's what we get to. You get all this information. You start to understand how the money works. You start
Yeah.
to understand what marketing is, what advertising is, and you start to really be able to identify these things. Now you have to find the product, and it seemed like you found the product, right? So now
One
it's
of them.
One of them. Well, that's true. This is the first one. This was the first one. So as you sat down with your first interview for NPR, you're at your first booth. These things start to sell.
Okay.
How do you continue it? Like, what popped in your mind after that day? Like, oh, this
Like,
could
how to
work?
continue to like sell them, like the business side.
Oh, yeah. Or was that the thing that made you kind of believe that, oh, I can keep creating these and create a brand off of it? Or did you want to do that from the start?
I felt like my family and friends are the first people that like kind of supported me in that, and that's how I knew I could sell them. Moving forward, I feel like I was just popping up everywhere. I think like the way I get excited and passionate about stuff, that's the buy-in. It's not always the hat, because people have told me, look me dead in my eye, like, I like you as an artist.
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna wear this hat.
Okay.
But that's cool though.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe it'll go to somebody else, because I've
Right.
definitely seen niplets that friends have bought on different friends' heads.
Okay.
And I'm like,
You
that
should call
ain't
them
your
out. You
niplet.
should call them out right
But
now.
you know what? It's cool
It's
because at
cute.
least you
That's
wearing
playing.
it. Because I would rather be on somebody's head than on a shelf.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But I think just popping up at different places, meeting different people. Like I said, I feel like one of my superpowers is just being a connector. I love to have conversation with people. I've bartended almost for 10 years too.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like I can literally start a conversation with anybody. I could find something that we have like a connection,
Right.
and I could talk to you about it, and I could hate everything else you say. But if you say, like, if there's one thing that we can relate on, then
was
we can
too
have a
smooth.
conversation and we can
build on
connect
that.
in a way.
Yeah, that was too smooth. I could hate everything you say, but still have a
Not
conversation.
hate, but
Just
like,
one. Just
I
one.
could
Just
not
one
like a
thing.
lot of your opinions, but like, if there's
Yeah.
one thing we agree on, okay, boom, I'm gonna start the conversation on that versus trying to combat with another.
See, now that's a
opinion
skill
that
in
we don't
itself.
agree on.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
That's a skill. I feel like that's a skill that we should embody in like everything. Like a lot of times people won't listen to somebody if they don't agree with them.
Or
They
people
won't
just
hear
want to
'em.
argue, and it's like I'm
You good?
I'm gonna recycle my energy
good.
into you because I think you need some of that.
You need who didn't love you? You know, we give you a little bit of love, man. We'll give you
Now
love.
we're getting into the mental health.
Hurt people hurt people. That's what they say. So
Yeah.
but yeah, man, and that like the communication I think is the common denominator between that's in every problem.
Yeah.
Every problem holds that.
And it's in every business.
Yeah, every business.
Just circling back to
And
like that.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. It's all connected.
starting to-
It's all
yeah, get it.
connected. Look at you. You got this thing. And that's what I'm saying. That's why the whole journey was so important because it's starting to unravel now, right?
Yeah.
And but that communication is the biggest problem. Anytime you're having a problem in business, communication is tied to it. It's communication between
100%.
boss and worker.
You would know. I
Yeah.
feel like you would know way more
I'm
than I
sorry.
feel like your frequency of customers is
Yeah.
like, and it's important stuff you're making.
Right.
You're printing their
Yeah.
art. It's like personal things. Like
Thank
so
you.
they're
Yeah.
trusting you with a lot.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So I'm sure that
Yeah, success and failure depend on
Right.
it,
Yeah.
right? And it's always swayed by it.
Yeah.
So, you developing the skill to become a master communicator, and I think all realms though. That's what it is. I
I'll
think
take it.
because it feels like a lot of things that you entwine yourself into is about communicating an idea, communicating a thought, and you're really good at being able to explain things for even a simple mind to understand. And I think
Okay.
that's only happens when you become good at it, and
love
it
that
takes
from
a
you.
lot of work. I'm trying to just put it all
I don't
together.
always see
I'm-
things
I-
from the perspectives that
Yeah.
people say, so I appreciate when people
Yeah.
point things out that I may
Yeah.
not have looked at it in that.
Yeah, it's like chess. It's like chess. You ever play chess?
I have.
Yeah.
I won't say I'm good at it, but I get it.
So when you're playing chess, when you're playing somebody across from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have somebody standing right on the side of you, the person standing on the side of you sees all the moves. It seems like the
Right.
people that are playing the game can't see what that person. That person can see everything, but the people playing the game
Sure.
usually can't. They're like blinded for like there's like a blind spot, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
it feels like sometimes. But me looking in, you know what I mean, like from the outside, that's what I see. I see,
Thank
you
you.
know, everything. Like a lot of people shy away from going live because you don't write things. You talk.
No,
You
I
talk.
you know
You
what? I
talk to the
actually hate
camera.
writing things, and
Me
that's why
too.
I get on and talk. But
Yeah.
I feel like my
Isn't that better?
Niplids,
Isn't
my
that better?
gang, that's my family. So anytime anything exciting happens, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to share that energy. So I'm like, and shout out to you, gang, because they on live right now.
So I don't know. Let's move the needle a little bit. Let's move the
Okay.
needle. Let's go a little bit further.
About to get spicy.
Yes, no, I think we already there. It's hot. So okay, so you started Niplids. I'm sorry, you started your firstborn, and I'm sorry, just went there. You started your firstborn, and then what was the next thing? The next endeavor that you entertained?
Cool. Endeavor like a business move.
Yes. yes.
Business or community, whatever.
Right.
Like, where did that develop? You start one, and then what did you kind of develop into?
Well, I think pre-artist talk, the biggest like business move, and this is a different perspective than probably you're asking, but I was moving to California. I think that
Ooh, I love
that allowed me to scale
native ground
in a
over
way, and it made
Yeah.
me, and I jumped into something that was totally unpredictable and was successful. So it gave me like this type of like actualization of like you are who you say you are, and I think that was my next business move because when I came back it was over. I
Yeah.
was just like any idea I had I was like I can do it.
Yeah.
So I just
So did you I have 1,000 questions.
He's from California. He's from
Oh, okay,
California.
period.
Yeah. So
Um,
he's gonna come with it.
When you
What's
came
up?
back to Pittsburgh,
yes.
did you feel like you had like a I don't want to say like it's easier here because it's a smaller population. Do you like it's not as hard to market because there's not as many
Really?
things going on.
I feel like it's
I'm
hard to market.
I was curious about that. Okay.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
do,
But what was the question?
So my question was if you felt the same way I did, but you don't. You feel the
You
opposite.
said it's easy to market?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is I just got accepted into the Leadership Academy at Carnegie Museum. They have a
Awesome.
program, thank
Yeah.
you. And a lot of people in that
Congratulations,
program, when we were having conversations that were not from here, kept saying all this stuff was easy to do. That I was like, wait, what? So I think if you're
So-
not from here, people
Yeah.
will support you in a different way.
I understand that. I definitely
Okay.
I
understand that.
don't agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's pick it
I
apart.
don't agree with that.
Well, people, if you're not from here, you kind of have a sparkle to you because they're like, oh, why are you here? What are you doing? It brings an extra, like, a layer of, like,
We'll come support
interest.
you because we're curious.
Right.
Right.
And that's fine. That's like that's natural anywhere you go, and you can go somewhere, and people are going to wonder why you came from where you are.
Right.
So when you went to California, what was that to do? Yeah, go ahead.
When I went to California, it was more of a personal reason.
Okay.
It was
Got it.
more like it was COVID. My job was remote.
Yeah.
I was like, if I can move ananywhere and do anything right now and still have my job, then why not? And
that was
California was where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So
Smart move.
I
That's
actually stayed in Burbank for the first couple months,
Yeah.
and then I stayed in Calabasas for a couple months,
Yeah.
and then I moved to K-Town, and that was where I kind of settled.
Got you. So yeah, I was born and raised in Southern California in Orange County, and moved here to Pittsburgh when I was 24. And my mom was born and raised in Mount Lebanon. So when I grew up coming out here like every other year as a kid, and as like a teenager, even up until I was 24, I was still coming out all the time. And it just ended up being the right move. I had a business in California for 7 years. And when we sold that, it's still in business today. When when I go back, I go and I visit them. It's really great to see something that I built that is still growing,
sustaining itself.
Yeah. And then when I came here, it was about 3 years, and then I started the business that I have now,
which is very successful in this city. Shout out to you.
Thank you. I wouldn't be able to do it without all of my amazing customers, supporters, and like everyone in this room.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's not all me. I'm not gonna say it's not some of me, because showing up and doing the job is the important part.
Right.
But in California, my experience was that there's just so many people doing something that it's the ability to find people that will be interested in working with you. I found it very hard.
It's
and that
definitely
was
saturated.
It is so saturated.
Yeah.
On the block there were 5 other businesses that did the exact same thing we did.
Yeah.
And it was just like, how am I going to, everyone's just chopping themselves down to get anything. And
I think it's like an energy thing, though. Kind of like what I was saying. I think like people don't always buy the product because of the product.
Absolutely.
It's because of like who you are, your passion, your energy, and what you put into it. And like
right. And there were, and that probably worked for a lot of it. That's probably why we had, the customers that we did at the time. But I've grown into that more.
But that's also the reason why I feel like even if you're like people from here will buy from here if you have that.
Okay.
Because I don't like to say people won't purchase off of you because of you're from your
no. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like Josh said, I think that people that aren't from here have that kind of like more sparkle where it's like they're just curious because it's something different.
Okay,
that's what I was saying. Because I feel like what's here, they're used to it.
Right.
So it's like when you see something that's different, it's like, oh, that's different. That's shiny. That's like, it just attracts you more. I don't mean that they won't support you, because Niplids would have never been to where it's at today if people didn't support me. It's here. I just mean when other people come in from other places, it's a little harder to. I feel like it's a little bit easier. I meant to kind of like get them to buy into that.
I got you. I got you. Yeah. I was like, hold up, what you mean this thing won't buy from me? I'm about to cry a little bit. I was like, nah.
City. He
like,
got you. He got y'all guys.
Me, 412. I got it tatted on me, man.
In California, it's like there's the audience. You have to reach out to a mass amount of people. Like we would throw events, and we would have to do lots and lots of marketing just to fill a room with 100 people.
Yeah.
And you can fill a room with 100 people in Pittsburgh and do a quarter, a tenth. And when we do put the same effort that we would in California and put that together, that's when it is a phenomenal experience. So it's just because there isn't as much going on here and there aren't as many people competing for like your attention and your time.
Yeah.
The ability to, like, when you go to somewhere like that, and you go any big city, and you have to make a name for yourself, or you have to grow, and you have to grow a business or whatever it is, and you like, I feel like I developed like a a way of going about it that I had to just like be at
the
turned
top.
up to 11
Yeah.
all the time just to get a small piece.
Yeah.
And
You developed the hunger though. That's
Right.
Yeah, you ever heard
Yeah.
of the blue
Correct.
ocean strategy?
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I've heard of
No.
it.
yeah.
I got
So
snippets.
blue ocean. So in business, right? You want to get to this. They call it a blue ocean, right? But you got to think of an ocean with sharks in it. They call that a red ocean, right? When there's a lot of
Okay.
people. When there's a lot of people.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say because we want to get to the blue ocean, so we're gonna start with the bad, right?
Okay.
The red ocean is what we're gonna start with. They call a red ocean is when there's a lot of sharks in the water, everybody's eating. That's the red ocean, right? There's a lot of people in there, and you want to create something that is actually like a blue ocean, where there's nothing but you in there.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Which is much more where we're at today.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when I look at California, I think of red ocean territory.
Right.
You know, where
I'm gonna agree with Josh though. It definitely that is where I found my hunger of
It built you up more.
it pulled it out of me. Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting to right there because there's more people fighting for the food. You learn how to hunt the food better.
Or when
You
you're
know what
just
I'm saying?
surrounded
Yeah,
by
yeah.
those type of people that are constantly getting the food, you learn and grow because you have an example right in front of you,
Damn
and they're
right. I
willing
love that.
to express that and tell you what those steps are to get to that. So I think when you're just surrounded by artists, all LA is artists. So I was like, oh, this is how you do this. I was learning so many things, and every day, every single day I'm learning things, and I'm running into 10 different artists and 10 different mediums, and they're like, hey, do you want to come to the studio after the club, or do you want to come to this art studio, or do you want to go and do this? Like, I'm teaching a dance class, I'm a choreographer, so I'm doing and I'm saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes to everything. I'm taking that dance class. I'm going to the studio.
You've been saying that's
to,
the way you move. That's just the way you move, which is dope.
I'm not.
Man.
I don't say yes to everything. I have boundaries for
Right.
sure. And I learned that through a lot of the mental health stuff. But I am
I want to learn about that too because I think that's important too. If somebody like myself, I say yes to a lot of things, and that's why I had to develop how to say no. You know, and that was hard for me because I'm always wanting to find there's something new out there that I think I can do. I want to do that. And
as artists, we want to support other artists, and artists have a lot of events that that could be draining sometimes.
Yeah. So how did you develop that?
So going out to
like what you said you had to create the boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. That's something we have to do in life. That's something we have to do in business as
Yeah.
well. But what we do in life trickles into business. So
Sure.
a lot of times that we can't do it in business is because a lot of times we haven't developed the skill in life, right?
That's funny you say that because I was gonna say burnout. Burnout is what made me develop those boundaries, and that happened in business and in my real life. And I kept seeing it. I would learn how to kind of defeat it in my business life or that realm. And then I would see it trickle into my life. And then once I saw it trickle in my life, it trickled back into business. So it was it was boundaries in totally different ways. And there were two ways that I had to learn it. But it was because of the same thing. It was because of burnout. I'm a workaholic. I love to work. But I love what I do. I love what I do. I would be up at 4 o'clock in the morning sending emails if I can't sleep.
And it's a lot. And we know it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot, and sometimes, a lot is a lot. It feels like it. And people that play with all the chips on the table, play at higher risks.
Yep.
They stress. Their stress is a little heightened once it really does penetrate. So what
And
was?
sometimes you don't know until it just happens, and you're like, oh, why am I keep getting these migraines? Why am I
What did
probably
that-
because I didn't sleep for 3 days.
So what did that burnout moment look like? Are you painting a picture for us of what that felt like? What was the
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm a very social person, so it felt like me being in my room, laying in bed for 3 days with the lights off, just Netflix going through things, and just kind of I remember at some point, I realized I was sitting in my room. I didn't have anything on. I didn't touch my phone. I was just kind of staring at the ceiling or the wall for 2 hours, and I was just oh, and just kind of came out of it. I think it's just my mind just isolation and shutting off, like putting my phone on do not disturb for 2 days.
Yeah. Well, I know that doesn't pop out just out of the blue. Like it doesn't just happen one day, right? Sometimes you can kind of see the signs early.
Yeah, I ignore them.
Yeah.
Well, I used to.
That's straight up.
Because I
That's
was like,
cool.
I just
That's
need
cool.
to do this one last thing, and then I'll get to this thing, and then I'll get to that, because it's like there's dates on all these opportunities.
Right.
So it's like it's hard because it's like, yes, I'm about to burn out, but I just
That's
have to
my
get
life.
to this date. I just have to
Absolutely.
get to this Friday, and then I can breathe. But then another thing pops up, and it's like, you know what? All right, I'll do this one last thing, and it's just like it's just a trickle effect of that. And
Well, I know this is going to sound weird because there's always
I'm sure it won't.
there's always these seeds that are these always these clues that we're getting closer and closer to the edge
yeah,
of burnout, right?
Sure.
And we try to start to identify them before we hit the wall. You know, what were some of the things that happen when you know it's time for me to take a break? Because I mean, we did talk about a lot of things that you do, but
Yeah.
that does come with a lot of, that's a mental game.
Yeah.
It's really 80% mental and 20%, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like action.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean? So like, what are some of the triggers that you see when you know that it's time for me to maybe take a step back?
Just me going into those phases where I feel like when I start putting my phone on do not disturb and just don't care about who's calling me or what's going on around me. I'm just like, I'm gonna just sit in my room, like I said, for like a day. I think creating Artist Talk has made me very aware of more things, being in these conversations, being able to have access to mental health advocates, facilitators, therapists, people that are just in that realm that also get it and agree and support and like protect my boundaries.
Right.
And they're like, you know what, like that's a boundary. I respect that. I love that for you. Let me know when you're ready to have this conversation. Like just having grace from other people. I don't really felt like I've had that a lot in life, but like stepping into these new spaces where people are giving me grace and like respecting my boundaries and even being like and encouraging me to continue to do them, I think has like made me grown and made me more aware. And like I gotta practice what I preach. I can't be out here doing this work and not abiding by
The
it.
real ones always do. You know what I mean? The real ones always do. It's like, hold up, I'm saying this. I got to stand 10 toes down on this, right? And I think that's important. And, you know, for our listeners may not know what Artist Talk is.
Oh, yeah,
Can you explain that
Let me tell
to
you
me?
all about it.
Yeah.
Artist Talk Mental Health is it's a lot of things now. It started off as a performance art series where artists would get up on stage, present a piece of art, and talk about their mental health. And we would have food. We had a DJ. You know, vibes are flowing in the room. At the end of the event, a therapist comes in and facilitates a conversation with the audience and the artist. We're at eye level. Nobody's talking at each other.
Right.
We're just all kumbaya in a circle. And everybody's welcome to talk. And it just ends up, you know, the conversation never stays with what the topic was because artists just start pouring out and people are just like, wow, like I didn't know how much I needed this conversation. And it's just, it's peer therapy, I guess you could call it that, with the therapist in the room because it's important. People do have triggers and things are bound to might come up. They have not, knock on wood, at anything that we have had, but just in case, like, I feel like that extra layer of protection and just guidance in the conversation to provide coping mechanisms and, you know, different things that people can practice are important. So that's what it started out as, was a performance series, and we still do that quarterly. We just had our first event in Philly this year. So we're branching out. We're doing things. We're moving.
Man. That was a thing. That was a thing.
And then we also have therapeutic spaces now. Therapeutic spaces is like it's the baby of Artist Talk.
Hold on, say this one more time. What's it called?
So I have 3 children.
Oh, goodness.
It's the baby of Artist Talk, I feel like.
Yo, I love that you call them your babies, like your children.
I feel like it.
That's
They
your
make
grand.
me
So that's
You
like your
have to treat 'em
grandbaby.
like
'cause,
that.
Yeah,
you
that's
have
my
a baby.
grandbaby. There you go.
Yeah.
Trying to get the family tree
you
down.
just really gave it that real quick. That's
You got 2 babies, and then this is the
I'm a
baby of the
grandma.
baby.
I'm a grandma.
So Therapeutic
That's
Spaces
hilarious.
is just like a branch off of Artist Talk.
Yeah.
It's a program that just kind of gets more in depth. So it's not a program, it's a cohort. So we had 9 artists in this cohort this time. And what I did was take from those conversations that we had at Artist Talk with the artist and the therapist, and I pulled things that people were asking for. People think that artists need paintbrushes and canvases. They need housing, food security, mental health access
so
to
much.
mental health,
So
like
much.
things that they actually need. So we address those through the programs by connecting them with resources. We have workshops, and then they're paired with a therapy session.
Right.
There you go, take two. And
Rewrite that. No, but
and then
that's just beautiful.
they work through that stuff.
Yeah,
So.
this is really one of the things that excited me the most when I seen it, because being an artist myself, knowing that art is such a solitary activity. You know, a lot
It
of
can
times,
be.
well, a lot of times that's the stigma. Is we make it that. You know, a lot
Yeah.
of times for me, it is best for me to create. I like to create by myself and like to really dig into my emotions, and sometimes I really got to do some self digging, and it draws up a lot of emotions, and it's just a solitary action.
It feels safer
So,
like that for you.
yeah, it does.
Sure.
It does. But it's really cool to know that I'm not the only person that feels like that. A lot of times, because I use art as a medicine. It is how I
Very much.
identify how I find the words to explain how I feel as I do it in my art. My art talks that way. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I identify them. So sometimes, being around other people that use art as their medicine, and that's how they navigate, and that's how the world makes sense to them, and knowing what's going on in their mind makes me understand like what's on my mind is not.
You're not alone.
Yeah, I'm not alone. You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
what I love
So that's
about these
dope.
cohorts is
Yeah, it's
like
dope.
we're really creating a safe space for each other.
Yeah.
We're labeling it as that, but we're also like creating it together.
Right.
And I think all the artists thought that before they came in. I don't want to
Yeah.
speak for them, but I think everybody in some degree was like, I made this when I was going through this specific thing, or, they were talking and speaking to specific experiences where it was just them. So I think that space needs to be created for you to feel safe in it.
Now, so I know everything you do, it stems from something. You know, where did this idea, like, where did it start? Where did it start
Yeah.
to grow? Like, how did this come to be?
So Artist Talk, it was born. I know you guys are gonna.
I got you. Yeah, it was born. It's here. It's a
It
grandbaby.
was born just through like conversations with my friends when I was in LA and I was here. Like everybody was kind of talking about the same thing. Like I'm depressed. I feel isolated. I'm going through this, or like I'm stuck in the house with my girl. And
Right.
da 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 da. So it was like, well, it was great for me to be having those conversations with my friends, and I saw what it was doing for us and how it was helping us cope and
Right.
just come to different solutions. And I realized that like everybody didn't really have that. So that was my way of kind of sharing it with my artist community, was just extending like my support group to them.
Okay.
And then kind of building around that, because I feel like because I've dabbled in so many spaces in the art world here, I have like this Rolodex of people, and I never knew how to put it together. So Artist Talk was a way for me to do that and
Definitely.
create that support system. So.
Absolutely, creating communities through these type of things, man, and that's dope. You know, using those skills that you gathered from being a new kid in school, like you seen it, how it trickles all the way through. It's trickling all the way through.
I'm
so
seeing
it's a
it
beautiful,
now.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful
thank you.
thing. The way you do, what you said, the way you do anything is the same way you do everything. You know what I'm saying? I learned that from a really smart man, one of my guys. Shout out to Lau. You dig it, for sure.
I did not know he was
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah. Oh,
you.
for sure,
I'm
for
cracking
sure.
up.
He references that almost every podcast.
Yeah, I know I do, but it was like to remind me.
I
like,
say it.
Well, I say it in a
in his
different way.
words.
Yeah, I say it in a different
Yeah.
way as well. But that's the guy. That's the one
I was
right
like,
there.
wait, y'all just look like y'all had a moment, but I didn't know
Yeah,
it. We were left out.
Sorry, everything ain't for everybody. Even though everything you do, anything
I'll say
you
it
do
on
is the
episodes
same as
you're not
everything
even on.
you do. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, I guess
No, it's a beautiful thing, man. And that's how we. Where can people go to not just find it to watch, but also participate in that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a community that I think needs to definitely grow, and there's definitely a need for that. So it's adding value to a lot of our lives as artists.
Sure. So there's a couple places and things that are coming up that I'm super excited about. Artist Talk made a beer, so we'll be in Barrel and Flow.
Hello.
We are collaborators with them this year. They chose us to be a part of the festival, so I'm super excited.
Let's get it, man.
2023.
August
time-
12th, man. Come out
August
to
12th.
the festival, man.
It's at
Live
Nova
art-
Place, right?
Oh, it's a three stack crossing.
Okay, three
So-
stack crossing.
Well, it's called Three Crossing. It's over in the Strip District.
Okay.
Man, and that's the festival, but there's also other events that are happening as
Yeah.
well.
So you'll see that coming up for us. I'm super excited.
I'm excited,
for you
too.
guys to taste
Yeah.
the beer. It's called Happy Days.
Yeah.
So super
I-
excited that we did that. Definitely come out and support. There's gonna be a lot of dope people there. There's like a whole I think 200 black brewers and
Oh, absolutely.
small businesses that you can support, nonprofits, tons of people. So pull up to that. That's how you can support. We also have a website. Artist Talk Mental Health is our website. That's where you can find applications for our cohort program. We'll be opening those up next month. And we are also doing a artist talk with the Pittsburgh Police Department. We got a grant from Leon Ford's foundation.
Nice.
So you'll be seeing that event coming up in November, which is also Men's Mental Health Month. So great time to support. Oh, we got the poster.
It's a real one over
Okay,
here, man.
period.
Let's get it.
Love
Let's
that.
get it. We're going to make sure
Did
we got
you
the
print
facts
this?
right.
I don't think I made
Okay,
that
I
one.
was about to
They
say.
gave
we
me
can
like
promote all
30
around.
Right?
They gave me
I
quite a
could've.
few of these, though.
We did.
Yeah.
Oh,
We did
man.
last year. We made a bunch.
Last
Yeah.
time I was in Barrel and Flow, it was called Fresh Fest, and
Yeah.
I ended up in a Forbes article in
Yeah.
Forbes magazine because they used my picture for it. So I was like, "Listen, I'm coming to whatever y'all got going on."
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
I love
going
that.
to be absolutely amazing, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, Barrel Flow, I'm really excited about
Yeah,
that.
it's gonna be a vibe.
So it's crazy to hear that you're part. We know a lot of people that know a lot of people that know each other.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep,
So
definitely.
so what all are you going to be doing at Barrel Flow once again? Just to let them know.
Yeah, so they picked a couple nonprofits in the city to partner
Right.
with and create a beer to raise awareness.
Right.
So we'll just be telling people our story and
Okay.
another way for us to market and get out there. But they wanted us to be able to collaborate with different types of artists, which is I
Okay.
love mixing
Okay.
mediums. So yeah, they picked some nonprofits to just share their to make a beer so they can share their story more with a
gonna be
different
dope.
demographic and different people.
So I know each of the beers have their own special thing, right? Because they're not just. It's like the beers kind of.
I'm not telling mine.
You're not. Oh, what?
Now I gotta pull up.
You got to find out.
Yeah, y'all
you're not
gotta
gonna.
pull
You're not gonna
up.
talk about the story behind the beer,
I-
like why
I
it's called
will-
Happy Days, like the ingredients.
Well, Happy Day. Okay, I'll tell the story of the
Okay,
beer.
come on.
I'm
You
not
gotta
going
give
to
us
tell you the
something.
ingredients
I'm
and
trying.
the
I gotta
recipe.
dig a little bit. Like we gotta give us something.
Yeah,
Just can't
Happy
leave
Days
it
is
like
just representative of like artist talk and therapeutic spaces. I feel like one of our goals is creating a safe space for artists, but it's to create like happier moments so they could be like a better and healthier and happier self. So that's ultimately what the goal and the narrative is.
that. Okay.
But if you want any more information, I got a August 12th.
All right.
Pull up.
All right. I
Pull
got
up
you. I
and
got
come
you. That's all
support.
you get. That's all you get, man.
The story will also be on our website after the festival, so you can find more information on there and a recap video.
Once
Our
again, what's the
website
website?
again is artisttalkmentalhealth.com. Our Instagram is Artist Talk
Right.
Mental Health. And our YouTube is Artist Talk Mental Health. Our TikTok
Oh.
is Artist Talk
There you
Mental
go.
Health. So we
There
got
you
it
go.
locked
All
down.
the handles,
All of
man.
them.
All the handles.
Except for
Say-
Twitter.
yeah.
But we'll be on Threads though.
Yeah, there you go. Hey man, for those that are listening, definitely take a pencil and paper out, man. Take
yeah.
that note. Get
And
all of
Niplids.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Follow Niplids too.
Absolutely.
It's Niplids, NIPLIDS_.
Well, Sid, is there anything else that you want to, for those that are listening, for those that are watching,
I got something
and
too.
also for Josh? I guess Josh got something.
Go ahead. No, you're right. Go ahead.
We
You go
but
first.
Wanted to see if there was anything else that we may not have touched on that you want to make sure that whoever's listening or watching gets from this.
Like my last sentiments.
There you go. That sounds okay. She said nope.
I will just say, write down your goals and go after it. I really think that the key, like we talked about earlier, is like it's knowing every step of it, but it's also just believing in yourself, and nobody can take that from you. So just take that first step. Do random things. Be curious. Play. Like wake up your inner child, because like that's where it's at. So you can do it. You could do it, gang.
That's dope. That's dope.
it.
And Sid, I'm sorry. There was one more thing. Sid, if there was somebody, if say you were sitting across from your younger version of yourself, right?
Oh, Lord.
The young child that was playing out in East Liberty, and there was a piece of advice that you had for your younger self, what would that piece of advice be to the younger version of Sid?
Just that like you are the best version of you. I think I was just so scared to like be my full self when I was younger. And I feel like I found out like that is the key. And that's like what nobody else has. So just be you.
Man, that's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That was always my problem. My problem was when I was trying to be like everyone else is when I always had a problem. When I accepted who I was and really doubled down on that and stood 10 toes down on that is only when I start to see the beauties of life, man. So definitely, man, if there's one thing you should be, it is you. You know what I'm saying? Be you. It's the hardest thing, but the easiest thing to do, man. Got to shed all those characters. Just get down to the essence. All right, what about you, Josh? What you got?
I want to ask you about the law of attraction.
Ooh, love that.
So, I absolutely believe in it. What you put out and what you're trying to get out of something is what you're likely going to attract, right?
Okay.
Like whatever energy you're putting into something, you're gonna get out of it. And I know people who are very negative, and they and it's like a disease that are like they're so negative, and then they just get more and more negativity, and it just dumps on them, and then that's all they have, and so they give it more, and then they get more, and like there's no way out of it until they can kind of
Break that.
And like I try to help with every as much as I can, but there's a boundary that you have to put.
Right.
For yourself, is there a point where you were like, I'm going to put this out there, I want this thing, and I'm just gonna push for it until I get it back? Like when you were in LA and you were doing all those things, it sounds like someone else could have gone to LA and had a completely opposite experience if you had negativity in your heart. You know what I mean? But since you were there and you wanted those things, and you're going out and you're meeting people and they're inviting you to, like, being an enjoyable person, and them inviting you back to their studio or art studio or whatever it is, like there's a reason for all of that.
Yeah.
And how you carry yourself, and what your energy and how your mindset is, and whether you're like you said, I'm going to write down what my goals are. You have to prime yourself. You have to get yourself ready to figure out what it is that is going to be that next step, and what you might not know what the steps are, but just to know that
where you're going.
It's a basic direction.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever a straight line.
Right.
But like, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on. I know that was me saying a lot of things, but I want to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, exactly.
I definitely believe in the law of attraction. I feel like it's really important for me to put out positive energy.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of stray away from things when I can't put that energy out, because I feel like energy is recycled. So I don't know if there was ever like a point. I would say that point that I started like attracting a different circle and different people was definitely, just going back to it again, was when I was like, oh, like I really am who I say I am. And I think I had to put myself in different environments and be that person for me to realize like that's really me. And I think once I unlocked that, it was easy for me to put out positive energy, because I believed in myself, and I woke up every day excited about what I was going to do, and I was very passionate about it. So it was just like very like nobody could kind of break that stride. So it was that just became who I was as a person. So I think that's when I kind of got the idea for Artist Talk, started like pouring into that and just opening up more. So yeah, I would say like I definitely can feel a shift in energy like right now, like this time in my life. I would say that like after Artist Talk, I think this was like our 5th or 6th Artist Talk, and the first therapeutic spaces, and just seeing everything that I've imagined come to life. Yeah. Every time that happens, I think it just takes me to a different place where I'm like, oh, wow, I could do this. And then I start going on, and I'm like, you could do it too, gang. And this is how you do it. And I start breaking down steps and actually, like, giving them the details they need to be successful, instead of just being like, oh, yeah, like, go fill out this grant. Yeah. Okay, how do you do it? So breaking that down and pouring into people, I think, is, like, definitely brought a different energy and different people around me. I'm very thankful for that. So
does the word impossible exist to you? No,
neither does can't.
That's right. I know that's right. I can feel that energy, man.
Thank you.
So For those listening, there's nothing but value all trickled out through this whole conversation. We appreciate that. Said, thank you so
Thank you
much
for having me.
for bringing everything that you do here. And there's a lot of people that's going to be listening. That's going to catch a lot of gems. Hopefully, they had their notebooks out.
I'm excited to meet you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna make sure that happens. If it's not Barrel and Flow, it could definitely be at one of the live artist talks that they have, or something else that Sid is going to be involved in. If you look around the city, around the corner, you'll see something because it's a real thing. So we're going to be on our way out. Can you let them know where they can find you at?
Yeah, all of the handles that I threw out before, Niplids, Artist Talk, our website, the TikTok. Like I said, those are all Artist Talk Mental Health. .com or just Artist Talk Mental Health.
Absolutely.
Find us on there. Niplids. You can find me on Instagram, and then I have a website in my bio, a little Shopify account well, not little, it's a big Shopify account.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you gotta talk that. You know what I mean?
You can find my hats there. I'll be dropping stuff next month too. I'm working on a collection that actually has a lot to do with all the energy I've been absorbing, so I'm excited to put that out. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and you can find me in front of Red Fishbowl randomly on a Saturday or Sunday slinging Niplids, or at an event supporting a friend. So if you guys have events, send them my way. I will definitely pop out to some of them because of boundaries. But yeah, that's where you can find me at.
But you know what, man? We're actually going to leave. Also, we're going to leave a list up right under this podcast of everything that you can find, everything that Sid's doing.
Love
that's it's going to be that's I don't know if they can write that fast. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be 100
I'll send
with
it to you. I'll send it back.
Just watch, listen or watch this episode again.
Yeah, you watch it three times, and it's a real thing, man. Because you really like that. You really like that. You're a real one for sure. And I don't even know. It's like I feel like I'm not doing enough.
We'll do a part 2.
There we go. Because I'm about to say there's so much. I also want, because there's so many things, other things you do, such as the grant writing, such as all of those things that I really.
We'll do a business, Sid.
Yeah, that'll be a whole different podcast. Yeah. And but I want to say thank everybody for watching. This is Corey Ochai, 1028 Podcast Studios. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Instagram. Pretty much all handles. Twitter is a dangerous place. I haven't really touched with it too much, but I'm still.
X.com.
You can find me on there. TikTok. I've been on TikTok lately, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks to a few people that's in the room right now. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't fell into the trap. It is dangerous, and I love every bit of it. So. But you guys, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to have conversations, if you want to do podcasting, but you don't know the technical skills, you don't have the editing skills, don't worry about none of that. You can come right here, just do the pod, and I'll take care of the rest for you. So hit me up if that's something you want to do. And I think Josh has something to say to you too as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Appreciate you listening. We wouldn't be able to do this without the people that are watching, listening, hanging out with us. You just spent an hour with us. And we're kind of coming up on our 100th episode soon.
Love that.
And thank you. It's been a lot of work in a good way. This is the work that we enjoy doing. Since Corey and I started doing this together, where we co-host and kind of collaborate on this, it has changed, and we give each other secret handshake after every episode. Like, man, we did it again. This was amazing. So
I like that secret handshake.
We get something. We get something out of it, and we hope that you do too. And we really appreciate the space that this gives us as entrepreneurs, as artists, that we're able to bring other people out, and then also kind of share our story and our little nuances of what makes us us every so often as well. So. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. If you want to find me, my Instagram is probably the best way. It's Josh Snyder 86, and that's Snyder with an I. And I post most of my personal stuff on there. And there you'll be able to find links to PGH Print Ship, thoughtful discussions. I'm a volunteer board member for Pittsburgh Museums, which is a nonprofit where museums are like the subject. So it's a cool place to go and find stuff on the calendar, different maps, listings of museums, and they have their own podcasts and articles and stuff like that. So really fun thing to be a part of, and appreciate Corey, thank you for being here.
Man, definitely
Thank you for
appreciate it.
being
Another
here.
dope
Thank you.
episode
Sydney.
with Sid in the house. Hello. Guys, and for those that are listening, I want to say go out there, do something beautiful. The world's counting on you. Grab that paintbrush, dip it in some paint, and let's paint a masterpiece together. God damn it, that's how I be feeling like that. I be feeling like that. Hold on, don't be laughing at me. My little outing out here.
There's a reason you want to say it. It's important.
Yeah,
I
no, but it's a
understand.
thing. But no, I feel like we do, man. We need to come together and paint this masterpiece together, man, and mess that whole thing up, Sid, with that laugh. I ain't gonna lie, I lost my whole confidence. I usually end it on a real cool note, but for those listening, hopefully you got value. We out. Peace.
I'm crying.